come to that point of stability, you should think of Master Maurya. Madame Blavatsky describes in the book Caves and Jungles of Hindustan that one day in the morning, somewhere in the jungles in the northeast part of India, the master put Blavatsky, Alcott and few others in a guest house. The master himself took to the role of a guardian. Only Madame Blavatsky knows that it is the master. Others think that he is the watchman of that guest house. Yes, your master also functions as your watchman, meaning he watches you. He watches you, he watches also to protect you, so that nothing around can cause harm to you. So Madame Blavatsky was looking to the master in meditation at 3 o'clock in the morning in the veranda of the guest house. Because they were in a jungle and there are many animals over there which can be a life threat to this group of Europeans. So Madame Blavatsky knows that it is the master in the form of the watchman. One night she got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, came out of the guest house and wanted to see what her master was doing. The master was in meditation. Please remember, even masters meditate. They are in attunement with Brahman. So Blavatsky saw. She saw the master so stable. She was wondering, is that a marble statue of the master just over there, or is it the master himself? So stable. Nothing moves. You don't even feel the respiration. You don't feel the pulsation. Is he there? Is he not there? Is he physically there and subtly somewhere? Or is he... What exactly is the situation? Was the thought of Madame Blavatsky. She went on seeing, and suddenly the whole form disappeared. Can you imagine? We have no idea of adepts. Absolute. So when I read that, I thought, this life is unworthy if we don't accomplish such a thing, at least in the proximate lives to come. When you hear about Master Maurya, you are just silenced. And after a while, again the madam saw the form of the master. And slowly the form started moving. And then he opened the eyes. Then the madam asked, Master, where did you go? What did you do? And how did you come back? Then he answered. I don't give the answer to you. At least it will make you study the book. Why I told this to you is, the ugly physical movements when the master's prayer is done, is what? Is not the right practice. It is all a kind of hallucination, a self-proposed distortion, and then they attribute all this to the master and his workings. The master said, even if you sleep, I will make you wake up. Even if you do this prayer lying on the floor, with your back on the floor, I will see that you wake up. You sit erect. You sit and then you sit erect. I see that the inner movement is conducted. So this inner movement is a reality, provided you have this kind of Shraddha when you invoke the master. In such a Shraddha when you invoke, and when the movement happens in you, it is such a pleasant thing that you can't open your eyes. That's the truth. And then, even while such movement of prana is happening in you, causing the necessary rectifications, the master engages your mind into buddhic plane and enables you to receive certain instructions which you are supposed to register in your lower mind. Because whatever is registered in the super mind, or which is called the higher mind, which is generally said to be subconscious mind. As Rike used to say, unfortunately people call it subconscious, but it is superconscious. And Sri Aurobindo calls it supramental, buddhic plane. So that higher mind receives, because the lower mind is incapable of receiving the instruction of the soul or instruction of the master. That's why we have to raise up to buddhi. Gayatri is also meant for it. If once you raise to buddhi, there you can listen to the soul. You can see to the work of the soul. So the master instructs you in the buddhic plane, raising you to buddhic plane. And you shall have to gradually bring it to your conscious mind, so that later you record it. So these two things are reality to a sincere student. To him, the master is the one who conducts every facet of life. That is the promise of Master CVV. If you see the book Mantrajala, you see Master Maurya informing Master Jwalkol. He says, we are responsible for your soul life. You should be responsible for your personality life. Your personality life you take care of. It's your problem. We associate with you in your soul activity and soul life. The personality life you have to work it out and neutralize. You can read it again. It's a very clear instructions from the hierarchy that your personality is your problem. You work it out with the given instructions. And you be available with your subconscious mind for the hierarchical work. This is how it looks, as is written in Mantrajala. Not only there, if you read White Magic, it also says the same thing. But it's not so with Master CVV. That's the difference. He says, you can't work out. I know, you can't work out yoga. You can't see all your personal problems. You can't take care of your diseases. Just leave it to me. He says, this is not a nivrutti marga. Saukhyas should be there. Comforts should be there in life. The outer life should also be splendorous. the outer life should also be fulfilled. How can a personality which is always in hunger and thirst and totally down with depressions for want of things in the worldly life, how can such a personality orient to the soul? It's okay in the ancient times where people carried more will. Today the will of the people is so small, so brittle, so weak. Alasulu, mandabudhulu, alpatarayavulu, kaliyuga mandali ee jeevulu. This is how Potana said of what Vedavyasa said. Isn't it? So we have such an alasatva. We are debilitated people, devitalized people, incapable of getting up in the morning for prayer. Let us accept certain realities. Say, don't worry, I'll do it. I'll give you the strength. I'll give you the inspiration. From pin to bed I serve you, provided you follow what I say. Who gives such a promise? That's where Master Ike was humbled. Don't think Master Ike started as we started. He started already as something in the field of spirituality. But even he was so humbled by the Master. So the Master is a solution for everything in your life. Have confidence in him. Invoke him daily. You have problems, weep before him mentally. Because physical weeping may not look so very social, no? If it is controllable, do it. Tell him your problems. Request him to solve these problems. It can be health, it can be finance. Don't think he doesn't listen. He is so permeating. So permeating. But the only problem is we are too casual. Too casual in invoking him. That's the problem. If you really invoke him, as I said, whatever I told you to guess, it becomes a reality. When it becomes a reality, your Chaitanya, called Kundalini Chaitanya, is activated. Then the work of rectification of the bodies keep happening. He does the repair work. Not only that, on one side he treats the prana, and on the other side he teaches yoga and all the related wisdom. Prana treat, yoga teach. This is what he said. Where is the wisdom coming to the followers of Master CVV? And how is it that it came to Master Ike? They defined the work of Master CVV. If you define what Master CVV is, it is only that much to you. Don't define him, he is indefinable. He is infinite. So if you start defining him, it becomes true to you. ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవరు కొలచినా అంత మాత్రమే నీవు అన్నాడు కదా అన్నమాచార్యులు. Why? Because Brahman cannot be measured. He is beyond all measures. And Master Siva said, I am Brahman, verily I am Brahman. ఇక్కడ కూర్చున్నది బ్రహ్మవేరా అన్నాడు అంతేనా కదా. So that is how it is with him. And he opens doors into every vista, not only of your life, but also of the universe. That's the beauty. He will open you to the universe and make you become a student of the universe. Then you are a universal student. That's how the work happens. So we did not proceed beyond the orange mind today. I'll continue in the afternoon. What happens when the machine starts inside and the master instructs you at the buddhic plane? What happens thereafter are the further steps of yoga. At every step the master conducts it for you and makes it easy for you. That is why he said, follow me, surrender to me, I shall conduct everything relating to you. Tesham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. I shall liberate you from the entanglements of the world and from the entanglement of death. Isn't it? That is how Bhagavad Gita says. Same thing he said again. That's why Master Rike says, this is no different from Krishna. He experienced Krishna, he experienced Master CVV's energy, and he writes in the book Master CVV, there is absolutely no difference between the two. It's one and the same. It is again the same avatar who has come in a manner to uplift this humanity, to uplift this globe. May he lift up the earth to the kings of beauty, isn't it? The avatar of synthesis. It is no more who is to come. Please remember, this was written by Master Jwalko. It is no more who is to come. The avatar of synthesis, who is around, may he lift up the earth to the kings of beauty. So the earthy ones who are stuck here are lifted up to the Gemini air. From Libra air of passion, you are lifted up to the Gemini air of the throat. So much journey is covered and you are in the ether. Throat is the etheric center. Please remember, base is the center for the material. Sacral is the center for water, that regulates water. Solar plexus regulates fire. Heart regulates air. Throat regulates ether. That's why he comes up to ether and pulls us up into ether and prepares our etheric body. If you see the books of Master Jwalko, all the teachings and instructions he gives are centered around purification of the throat center, because throat center represents discipleship. Master CVV works out your throat center, prepares your etheric body if you follow the instructions that are coming from him. So let it be understood like this: from Aquarius to Gemini he descends and he pulls us up from the fashion of Libra. Gemini is the mid-air, Aquarius is the spiritual air, Libra is the passionate air. So these three airy signs are made use of by the Aquarian master, because Aquarius itself is an airy sign, and he promised that we shall all fly in air. That is his promise, that each one of you will fly. You shall yourself be an aeroplane. Your etheric body is your aeroplane. That's the aeroplane by which Hanuman moved. Hanuman is also an Aquarian master. Please remember, whenever Aquarius comes, the Aquarian master comes. And many times it has come. So let us make that kind of understanding, reaffirm our confidence in the path of the yoga of Master CVV, and concurrently learn all ancient wisdom as you progress in the path of Master CVV. That is synthesis. Ramayana is not required, Bhagavad Gita is useless, Krishna failed. This is how the people speak who are fanatics of, extremists of the path of yoga. Nothing is a failure. You should know how to synthesize. That synthesis comes to you. Follow with veneration. Follow with humility. Follow with obedience, with shraddha, with required humbleness. Thank you. Rudra Puja, there is such a pleasant manifestation of the energy of the Lord. Tapovan is gradually finding itself and is expressing itself. The place is named Tapovan because it has the energy to carry out tapas. And as we keep working here in the same vibration and with the same shraddha and bhakti, it is but certain that this will be a place in the future for all meditative purposes and for accomplishment of light and the truth. It is a pleasant coincidence that our beloved brother Sri M.L.N. Shastri completed 60 years of useful life, and on the way, very early in the life, he met the lady, and together they have been fulfilling the activity of personality and slowly gathered into the soul activity. And in the presence of the Master, they decided to have the celebration of completion of 60 years, which is called Sashyabdi Purti Mahotsava. Only when 60 years are completed, this blessing is given, and this blessing has a further consecration. It demands a further diksha. 60 years cycle in a man's life is a landmark because it means 5 cycles of Jupiter and 2 cycles of Saturn coinciding in the number 60. Earlier to 60, there is no such a synthesis or agreement between Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn and Jupiter are the 2 planets that keep ruling the whole system, be it the solar system, be it the human system, because a human system is a potential solar system. Saturn consolidates, Jupiter causes expansion. At every point there is need for expansion, and every expansion needs to be consolidated before a second expansion takes place. Like that, there is the work of expansion and a work of consolidation, as it alternatingly happens through the law of alternation in a human life. Each time when we breathe in, the inhalation shall have to be consolidated. For that reason, there is the exhalation that would expel the impurities and allow the prana of inhalation to settle down in the body. Likewise, there is the law of alternation functioning, and this law of alternation, as far as the solar system is concerned, is related to Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn stands for consolidation, Jupiter stands for expansion. Saturn is at Mooladhara and Jupiter is at Sahasrara. So this is how you have the planetary formation within your body. You have your Sun center in the brow center, Mercury in the throat center, Venus in the heart center, Moon in the solar plexus, Mars in sacral center. This is how the 7 planets are traced to the 7 centers. So a cycle of 60 years speak of 5 times Jupiter. 5 is the favorite number of Jupiter, and 2 times Saturn. In this context, a story from the Puranas is essentially narrated. Thus, that story relates to the story of Sarmishta and Devayani. Devayani means the divine path. Sarmishta means the procreative path. Sarmishta stands for the path of procreation, that is getting into the mind, the senses, body and into the worldly life. That is Sarmishta. It's a procreative activity. Devayana, the principle that presides over Devayana, that is divine path, is called Devayani. Yayati is the traveler. Yayati is the soul. You and me, we have two paths available. One is the path of Sarmishta, where you get into procreative activity but not creative activity. Procreation is mediocrity. Creativity is creativity. It is superior to procreativity. There is someone who invented an aeroplane. They are great, the Wright brothers. There are so many who are copying that model and procreating so many aeroplanes. They are not so great. Procreators are many, creator is one. So the one who gets into the path of creativity, he is walking towards greater realms of divinity. So at the year of 60, the man is told, look here my friend, all your procreative activity shall have to be ceased now. There is no more procreative activity. Procreation need not necessarily mean giving birth to children. That is one of the many thousands of procreative activities. All the thoughts relating to the world and worldly activities are procreative activities. So this landmark of completion of 60 years has a message according to Vedic way of life. It says, now you put a full stop to procreative activity and devote your whole time and attention for creative activity. That's how Yayati, he is now to take to Devayana path but not Pitriyana path. Sarmishta, the Pitriyana path, all the worldly living, is so jealous, is so possessive. A man who is worldly is jealous. A man who is worldly is possessive. He is possessive and hence he is possessed. That is how in the story of Yayati, Sarmishta is found to be the possessive wife. Very possessive wife. When she finds that the Yayati is in love with Devayani, she would even conspire with her father to kill the husband. Isn't it? That means the worldly life which attracts you, you the traveler, Yayati means traveler. You the traveler, in so far as you are engaged in the worldly activity, death is your destiny. And it doesn't allow you to get into the divine path, because the habits that you form in relation to the worldly activity does not allow you to get into the divine path. That is why it is more difficult for people who have gone into indulgences in life even very early. 60 years of indulgent life, how can it change overnight? That's why the Aryans of this land said start early. Start early as early as 7 years and start regulating and controlling your body. Let your body and your senses be regulated by 14 years. Let your mind be regulated by 21 years. By 28 years you settle down in family life. And thereafter for 14 years, because 7 to 21, 14 years of learning. and then getting into a family system by 28. From there for 14 years, all multiples of 7, work with the world relentlessly. Then from 42 to 49, slowly withdraw. Learn to withdraw in a very subtle manner. And from 49 onwards, try to increase your divine activity and concurrently reduce your worldly activity. This way, by the time you reach 56 years, 8 times 7, you would have been fairly wriggling out of the worldly activity. By 60, where you have this happy coincidence of the least common measure number of Jupiterian cycle and Saturnian cycle, resulting in 60 years, you are totally out of procreative activity, meaning you don't anymore relate to any worldly materialistic activity. So that for the next period of 12 years, thereafter it is 2 Jupiterian cycles, 60 to 72. From the 60th year to 72 years, you intensify your practices and accomplish. And from 70 to 84, experience the Brahman. And 84, you are complete with Sahasra Chandra Darshana. That means you have fulfilled the 1000 full moons in your life. You can calculate in 84 years, you have 1008 full moons if you take away the Adhika Masas. Adhika Masas are extras, they are chocolates. 12 into 84 is 1008. So 1008, Ashtottara Sahasram. Like our Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, there are Ashtottara Sahasram. So then the life is fulfilled. This is how there is a plan of work destined for the human being. Every 7th year is a landmark. 7, 14. When you get into 14, you are already into the teenage emotions. You have to regulate them. By 21, you should be fairly ready. By 28, you should be completely ready. And then, Swadhyayanma Pramaditavyaha. Don't stop self-study which you have picked up even during your esoteric schooling of earlier times. While it happens regularly at home, you be attending to the worldly activity, but then from 42nd year, try to withdraw, because 14 years is enough. If you are good enough, 14 years is enough. Since we are not so very good, even by 60 years we are not fulfilled, even with respect to material things. So they continue this material pursuit even till the end of life and they die. So there is a Devayana path in you, right from Mooladhara. That is what is given in the month of Sagittarius. There is a dual path from Sagittarius, from the constellation Moola. In the Moola constellation, there is a double path. You will be going on a road and the path bifurcates when it comes to Mooladhara. If you take to one path, it takes you to thighs. If you take to the other one, it turns back. Now you see the highways, how they are built. You only go unidirectional, but then you find yourself in a different direction. So this turn back should happen to you. So you should keep the awareness of your turning back in mind at such and such a milestone. At the milestone where you see 60, you shall have to turn back. So you have to take to that line. Otherwise you are gone. That's why now our brother Ambulance has say, he should think of all worldly things. He should forget. He should stop thinking of all worldly things. Or he should think of worldly things and abandon them. And then follow only yoga path. So only the path of Master CVV, which will take him to immortality. Anything beyond that, if he tries to indulge, the Ballari Brotherhood should try to caution him, prevent him, prohibit him. That's a good help. Every time he tries to get into silly things, tell him, you went through Saschabdhi Purti, you are not permitted. Do Shiva Puja, do Vishnu Puja, do meditation, do Homa, read books, explain books, any other activity. If you do, we don't let you. That's why I called him here for Saschabdhi Purti. If we do it at home, nobody tells all these things, because everything is done in Sanskrit and people come only eat fully and go away. And they have an obligation to give him some clothes as a blessing. But that's not the function. This is the function. So the path, the divine path should be pursued on a whole time basis from today. Not knowing this commitment, he came here. I also did not tell him before because I am afraid that he may not come. So now that he is here, at least for the sake of modesty, he will accept this Diksha. He is cornered now. Otherwise, Brother M.L.N. Shastri, you will be killed by Sarmista. Yes. What happened when Jayati was killed by Sarmista? Devayani was weeping. She went and reported to her father, the great teacher. Who is her father? Sukracharya. Who is Sukracharya? The principle of Venus. What is principle of Venus? Immortality. Sukra presides over the path of immortality. So he is the one who would rejuvenate. So he gave back life to Jayati using what Vidya? Mruta Sanjeevani Vidya. Sukracharya, the cosmic principle of Venus, has the science of rejuvenating life from dead things. That is that's why Sukra is considered to be a secret benefactor and is considered to be a greater teacher than Jupiter. Please remember, Jupiter stands for all exoteric ritualism. Sukra stands for all esoteric ritualism. That's how you find in the story of Buddha, when Jupiter and Moon, you know that, the story, Tara Shashanka, to whom is Buddha born? Jupiter thinks it is his son. Tara, the wife, conceives, and she is the wife of the Jupiter, isn't it? Jupiter means exoteric religion to start with, and also the ultimate. So Tara was going through all these ritualistic practices. Then Chandra came also to learn from Brihaspati, Jupiter. He didn't come for learning from Jupiter. He came for Tara. He is more interested in Tara than in the teaching of the teacher, the Jupiter. So one fine morning, Tara conceives. She is pregnant. And Chandra disappears. So what happens? A boy was conceived. Yes. When the boy was conceived, Jupiter claimed, he is my boy. But then Soma came and claimed, he is my boy. Sukra came and supported Soma. Yes, he is his boy. Buddha is not Jupiter's boy. Then Jupiter was surprised. What is this Chandra? Chandra is known as is a blind for Soma. Because in the scriptures, Soma and Chandra, they are interchangeable terms. Soma is Savuma And Somarasa is the substance through which immortality is granted. Sukra introduces esoteric version of the rituals, just like now we try to make an understanding of the esoteric science of all that which we do. It makes sense to us if we have the esoteric version. It doesn't make any sense if we do not know esoteric version and we keep on doing so many things exoterically with a blind belief. So Tara is the disciple who was initially put to exoteric discipline. Then at the instigation of Sukra, Soma energy is initiated into Tara. Consequently, she gives birth to Buddha. Buddha. What is Buddha? Buddhi is Buddhi, the light of the soul. So the light of the soul comes to you through Sukra, not through Jupiter. These are all the intricacies of the stories. In the 3rd chapter of Secret Doctrine, Madame Blavatsky explains this concept as it is given to her by the Masters of Wisdom. An average Orthodox Indian does not know about it. He also does not know about the planetary significance relating to the 60 years completion. So it is Sukra that enables you to follow the esoteric path, meaning the secret path, which is sacred path. People who live in only exoteric religion and exoteric orthodoxy, they will be killed by the father of Sarmista. But if you follow the creative path, the path of divine, then you are protected by Sukra. That's why Venus is important. That is the reason why Friday is important for all spiritual practices, not only for us. Unwittingly, I am saying unwittingly, unknowingly, all religions follow Friday as important. For the Christians, Friday is important. For Muslims, Friday is important. For Indians, Friday is important. Each one has his own fun idea about Friday. But Friday is for esotericism, to get into the secret cave temples which exist in you and also on the planet. Please remember, if you know how to get into the cave temple of your own body, where the whole scripture is written from A to Z, that is a meditation in spiritual psychology. The whole scripture is written in you from A to Z. Start reading from Z to A in the cave temples of your body. They are not simple things, they are given simple. So this is possible only when you have the blessings of Friday. So you should be more oriented for Friday. So Brother Amalan Sastri, please get deeply focused on Friday evening hours. It should not be for anything except for esoteric wisdom and the related practices. And you have already promised your good lady when you married. The promises are made in Sanskrit, so we forget. And we do not know also. Anything you do, you have to do with her. You can't do it alone. You have to ask her, would you like to accompany me? The choice is hers. But you can't avoid her and do things. So do it together. Because you have to, she is the co-traveler with you and he is co-traveler to her. So in this way they have to proceed. So that's where Devayani, she goes and tells her father Sukra, this Yayati is killed by Sarmista. Now I have become a widow. So please try to help me. So Sukra gives back life to Yayati, and Yayati with Devayani keeps moving with greater vigor. Then Sarmista becomes wild. How could this fellow live? So the king made an enquiry, because she is king's daughter. The king made enquiry and found that the king's teacher, See, who is Sukra is the teacher of Rakshasas, isn't it? Rakshasas is Sukra. It looks funny. So, Sukra knows how to deal with Rakshasas because he knows the intricacies, he knows the illusions of Rakshasas. So then the king was surprised that his own teacher, the teacher of his community, all Rakshasas, he is working against him, against the king. So Rakshasa is a Rakshasa. He doesn't care who he is, no. So he said, kill the teacher. If he is working against me, let him kill. But before that, Devayani says, there could be a threat to your life, my father. So you better teach this wisdom to Yayati, so that in the event of you are getting killed, there is someone who can put you back to life. If you are killed, he will bring you back to life. If he is killed, you will bring him back to life. If I am killed, either of you can put me to life. That was the intelligence of Devayani. So in the meanwhile, Sukra would have taught the path of immortality, the science of immortality to Yayati. So when the king kills Sukra, Sukra is brought back to life. This is the story. So this story has to be necessarily narrated with its significance on this very auspicious day of completion of 60 years to any person. So that's where this function is important. Once you enter the path of immortality and become immortal, you can even save your teacher, isn't it? Is not Yayati a blessed disciple that he could bring his teacher back to life? And thereafter Yayati, having learned this technique, he gets back to the Devas. It's okay. Sukra knows all about it. It's all in the scheme of things. So this is the path. Now from 60 years people should walk. All those who are beyond 60 years here, they should think seriously about it, because they are losing time. They are going to meet the crisis, and that crisis is death. So you start early and see if you can overcome death. In your pursuit of overcoming death, even if you die, you will surely pursue it the moment you come back again into the body. That's the beauty of it. That's the importance of this function. And now let us wholeheartedly wish our brother M.L.N. Shastri, that he shall enter into the path of immortality, and to us Sukra is Master CVV. There is no doubt about it. He has even given rectification to Sukra, because he found Sukra is not working enough, not working actively. He said Saturn is also not working actively. I have come to rectify these two planets so that you have a good physical body and you have also a good etheric body. Etheric body is bestowed by Venus principle, and that Venus exists in you, in your heart center. So this is how, in a nutshell, the whole scheme of things is. So may the Lord and the masters of wisdom, who pervade the path of light, of immortality, bless this Punya Dampati, the righteous couple, to enter into the path of light. May it be so. అందరూ తథాస్తు అని 3 సార్లు అనండి. తథాస్తు in English is so mote it be. So that's how we wish him. And now the elders can bless him, the elders in age, the youngsters can witness. So we shall do a small celebration by presenting Vastra. Srimad Bhagavata is the ultimate of the Vedic wisdom. And for this yuga, the Vedic wisdom is once again given out in a very methodic way by the grandest of the seers, who is no other than Vishnu Rupa, embodiment of Vishnu, who has been a very high soul, and he systematized the Vedic knowledge, classified the Vedas, and hence is called Vedavyasa. His original name is Krishna Dvaipayana. He is one of the three Krishnas, or one Krishna in three bodies. That is Lord Krishna himself, Krishna as the scribe and the seer as Krishna Dvaipayana, and Krishna as the greatest power and beauty of the time, that is Draupadi. Mahabharata describes three Krishnas. One is the Lord, and another is a dimension of the Lord as the seer, and a dimension of the Lord as beauty and power. So Vedavyasa must be remembered whenever we think of Vedic knowledge, be it Vedas, Vedangas, Brahma Sutras, or Puranas, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and ultimately Srimad Bhagavata. Bhagavata was the ultimate initiation to Vedavyasa, and he in turn gave out the entire scheme of Bhagavata as it revealed to him at the culmination of his incarnation for that time. Bhagavata is the ultimate doctrine of synthesis, a doctrine that gives the simplest practice of experiencing the divine at any time and any moment. The presence is the fundamental principle when it comes to Bhagavata. Bhagavata was the initiation received by Vedavyasa, and that was not the first time that Bhagavata initiation happened. Bhagavata was initially given out by Lord Narayana to the Chaturmukha Brahma, the four-faced creator. And Srimad Bhagavata also mentions that the secret of Bhagavata Marga, the path of Bhagavata, was first given out by the Lord Narayana, that is the Lord beyond creation, to the Creator when the Creator was finding difficulties in creating. And once Chaturmukha Brahma practiced and stood stable in the presence of the Lord, the creation happened through him. He was made to realize that in spite of he being the creator, he is only a medium for the creation to happen, and it is the one beyond the creator who is uttered forth through the creator. So the creator is the utterer. The Lord Absolute is essentially the utterance. So the utterance itself prepared its vehicle, the utterer, and uttered forth itself. So it is the one who uttered forth himself through the creator. So the creator continues to utter forth. He utters forth the creation. We wish to utter forth, provided there is the word in us. If there is no word, there is no uttering forth. Just like this microphone by itself cannot transmit any word. This is the exotic microphone. The throat is the esoteric microphone. Through that there is the uttering forth happening. Before the word reaches the throat, it exists as Om, unuttered Om, in the form of exhalation. Before it existed in the form of exhalation, it existed as inhalation. Before it became inhalation and entered through your nostrils, it is there all over. So that which is all over enters through the nostrils, becomes inhalation, and through exhalation, when it crosses through the throat, it utters forth itself into letters, into words, into sentences, into discourses, into scriptures, into so many details. That is how the one beyond utters himself forth. All that comes out of itself remains to be its vehicle. At best, it can cease to be the vehicle. So even the Creator is uttered forth to utter. The Creator is uttered forth by Narayana from out of his navel. The navel gave birth to a stem. The stem gave birth to a globe. The globe blossomed into a lotus. In that lotus, we find Chaturmukha. It's a different symbolism. We don't get into it now. So Narayana himself uttered forth the Creator. The Creator wanted to know who am I when he came out. That's why we are also asked to contemplate upon who am I. You are verily that. The Creator found himself sitting in a lotus, and there is water all over. Everywhere there is water. Water here means ethers, the boundless ethers. And from out of these ethers there is a sprout, and from out of this sprout he is born. He wanted to go through this sprout and see where he is. When he got into the waters, he got frightened of the abundance of these ethers. he thought it is safer for him to be afloat in the lotus than to get into the boundless ocean of the ethers. So he forgot the question of who am I. Then he got the question, what am I to do? He got the answer, tapa. So he went on doing penance. When he went on doing penance, he turned inward and found the source of his being. He understood that he is none other than that. So he came back with the answer that I am. So when he came back with the answer that I am, verily that as I am, then came the next question. What am I to do? Again. Then came the answer from within. Create. He started creating. Not by himself. He became a channel to that. And verily that came out as all this. So this is how the initial initiation happened to the Creator. As long as the Creator remained in the presence of that in English is equivalent to tat in Sanskrit. Yes. When he is in that presence, things happened well. Whenever he was out of the presence, things did not happen well. So if it is the case with the Creator, you can't be better off. You too have to be in that if things have to proceed well. Because the whole scheme is run by that. You can be a witness and experience the splendor of all that happens through you. So that's how the Creator himself is the first disciple and the first medium to this philosophy of Bhagavata. This philosophy was once again given by the Creator to his mind-born son or mind-born sons. The Creator had 5 mind-born sons. They are Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara and Sanasujata. These are 4 chiefly. And there is the 5th one, that is Narada. Please remember, Narada is the universal teacher. He is the ultimate before he reached the Brahman. Just like we think of Lord Maitreya as the teacher for this humanity on this globe, there is a hierarchy on every planet. And then there is the head of the hierarchy of that planet. And then there is the hierarchy for the solar system. There is this hierarchy for the groups of solar systems. And Narada heads it. Narada, you cannot imagine what it is. Yes. So he received it from his father. When Vedavyasa could classify the Vedas and elaborate Vishnu Purana into 17 other Puranas, write commentaries on Brahma Sutras, and also give out all the laws of creation and the eternal dharmas that run the creation through the Panchama Veda called Mahabharata, of which Bhagavad Gita is a part, he was still not happy. He was finding himself not fulfilled. Imagine how could that happen to a man, to a seer who has done such a stupendous work for the posterity, for the human beings to come in the entire Kali Yuga. He was not feeling fulfilled. He was not contented. So that's the time when Narada came and gave out the secret of Bhagavata, which in fact Vedavyasa's father Parasara knew. In fact, Vedavyasa also received it, but did not stay stable in it perhaps. We cannot say anything. Because Narada comes and says, all that you see is Vishnu. And the entire Vishnu Purana is conceived by your father in those lines. See everything in terms of Vishnu. All this form is Vishnu. And all that behaves through the form, the force that expresses itself through the form, is Vasudeva. And the source of the force and the form is Narayana. So see the whole creation in these three layers. Then you find the beauty of variety of the one who is acting in million ways and is presenting himself in millions and millions of forms. If you see everything from the divine standpoint, then you would remain in divine ecstasy. You would stand in divine romance. It is that one who is present in the form of Krishna. We haven't seen him with that eye. We have been seeing things through principles. We have narrated the cosmic principles, the solar principles, the planetary principles, the principles that function through humans, through devas, and through varieties of kingdoms. All that is okay. But you haven't seen the one as all this. And that one can also be present amidst all this. It can also take directly to flesh and blood and live amidst us. You haven't seen him enough. You haven't seen the whole creation in him. You have seen the creation from a scientific standpoint. You haven't seen the artistic presentation of the Lord and how skillfully he can himself be present amidst us, not even to be recognized, identified or located by seers. So Narada opens the eye and asks Vedavyasa to see with his eye, where he finds the whole creation as Krishna. Until then, his comprehension of Krishna was different. After Narada's initiation, his comprehension was complete and total. That's why if you see certain narrations in Mahabharata and the narrations in Srimad Bhagavata, it is written by the same grand seer Vedavyasa, but there is a difference. At the time of Bhimasena's encounter with Jarasandha, if you see Mahabharata, it is written that Bhima was wrestling with Jarasandha, and all the technicalities of wrestling are very well presented in the book. And ultimately Krishna gave a hint to Bhimasena, and Bhimasena won over and killed Jarasandha with the hint received from Lord Sri Krishna. This is how it is mentioned in Mahabharata. But when it comes to Bhagavata, it is different. In Bhagavata, it is mentioned that the Lord attracts the attention of Bhimasena, who was wrestling with Jarasandha, and he gives the hint through the piece of grass, and while looking into the eyes of Bhimasena, he transmits his energy to Bhimasena, and it is because of that energy he could kill Jarasandha. That could not be seen before by Vedavyasa. Likewise, when it comes to saving the lady Draupadi from the shame of Dhartarashtra, in Mahabharata it is more technical, and it is said that Panchali was praying the Lord Krishna, and she was saved through eternal supply of saris. But when it comes to Bhagavata, Vedavyasa himself visualizes that it is the Lord Krishna himself, though engaged in a war with a person who has been causing lot of disturbance to society, while in engagement with the war, he visualizes what is happening to Draupadi. At the same time, he gives his protection to Draupadi. That's how in many events Vedavyasa sees the hand of Lord Krishna, which is subtly present in all the accomplishments of Pandavas, which was not so in Mahabharata. So if you read Mahabharata, if you read Bhagavata, you find the subtle difference in between happening to the grand seer Vedavyasa. This subtle difference is a big difference. The little difference is a big difference. Here, when it came to the awareness of Srimad Bhagavata, Vedavyasa could see the hand of the Lord in anything and everything. Earlier he was seeing the whole thing technically. See, to say this man is of Rajas, that man is of Tamas, that man is of Sattva, is technical way of seeing. To see the Lord himself as Vasudeva, functioning through Rajas, through Tamas and to Sattva, would link you up to the Lord but not to the qualities. Isn't it? This is a lazy fellow. This way you become judgmental. But in the form of that lazy fellow, it is Lord himself present as Vasudeva. What happens to you? You are not seeing the quality of laziness in him, you are seeing the presence of the Lord even in that quality. So in people who behave well, you see well-behaved people, and in others you see badly behaving people, isn't it? But when it comes to Bhagavata dimension, it is the same force. In a person of good behavior and in a person of bad behavior, it is the same force functioning. It's the instrument that makes the difference. If this flame burns in that manner, you call it a lamp. If this flame increases its dimension and burns all over, what do you call it? A kind of big fire, bonfire, wildfire, forest fire, horrible fire, isn't it? But it is fire. So if you see the presence of the Lord as force, then you don't see the qualities of the people. When you don't see the qualities of the people don't affect you. If you see the qualities of the people, those qualities affect you, because what you see affects you. What you see is what is in you. So that which in you is stimulated by seeing the qualities. Don't see the qualities. See Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the force that functions through every form. Vishnu is the presence of the Lord in any form and every form. Narayana is the basis both for the force and also for the form. So you would either see the form or the functioning of the form, isn't it? That's all what we see. You see the behavior of the people and you see the forms of the people. What more do you see? The behavior is in great variety. నత్తకుని భంగి పెక్కకు మూర్తులతో ఎవడాడు మునులు దివిజులను కీర్తింపనేరెవ్వని ఎవ్వని వర్తన మురులెరుంగరు అట్టి వాని నేను తింతుని అంటాడు కదా. దట్స్ హౌ భాగవత స్పీక్స్. He behaves in so many ways. He plays so many roles. Even the seers cannot praise the variety of roles in which he behaves. So the behavioral force is nothing but the admixture of tamas, rajas and sattva. If sattva is more, you find a sadhu, a saint, a sage, a seer, a savant. If rajas is more, you find Ravana, Hiranyakasipa and such other lot. If tamas is more, you find Kumbhakarna, Ajagara and such other people. So the whole thing is nothing but a recipe of the three qualities. But beyond the three qualities, the one dweller of the creation, Vasudeva. That's why Vasudeva Sarvamiti. That was asked to be explained by Ramakrishna Shastri when I first came to Ballari. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. It's a statement which is uttered forth by Vedavyasa himself in Bhagavad Gita. The beauty is, unconsciously, Vedavyasa recorded in many places, especially in Bhagavad Gita, more than 35 times, he expresses slokas relating to the instruction of presence. The doctrine of presence is intermittently presented in Bhagavad Gita. I have collected all those slokas. One day you will find it in a book form. How many times the Lord says, recollect me in all that is. Enter into me. Settle your mind in me, your buddhi in me. Staying in me, you conduct your work. Do not come out of my presence. If you stand out of my presence, you are in illusion. So this kind of knowledge of the eternal presence is given by Narada to Vedavyasa, and that is Bhagavata. So from Lord Narayana to the Creator, Bhagavata was discourse or the initiation of Bhagavata happened. And from creator to his 5 mind-born sons, Bhagavata was once again initiated. And Narada initiated Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa initiated Sukha. That's how there is one dynasty or hierarchy of the seers of the path of Bhagavata. Don't look at there, look at here. That's the sickness. What is there? Why all the heads stand that way? It shows your lack of focus, that's all. ఏమా అంతేగా? అందుచేత Bhagavata hierarchy is Narayana, Chaturmukha Brahma, Narada, Vedavyasa and Sukha. That is one hierarchy. If there is a hierarchy, the Lord need not necessarily function through the hierarchy. He can function independent of the hierarchy. The hierarchy cannot bind the Lord. So the Lord himself once again gave Bhagavata to Lord Maitreya. That's how Krishna initiated straight away Maitreya into the path of Bhagavata, into path of synthesis. In fact, this path of synthesis was given by Parasara both to Vedavyasa and Maitreya. But somehow it was not the time to be. Either of them did not completely get into it. So Narada had to redo it for Vedavyasa, and Lord Krishna did it for Maitreya. And Maitreya gave it to Vidura. So that is another hierarchy of Bhagavata. And then Sukha gave it to Parikshit. And that is what comes to us as Bhagavata. But all these stories relating to the varieties of initiations that happened in terms of the doctrine of Bhagavata are given out in the scripture Srimad Bhagavata. And all those who have accomplished this presence through practice are the only ones that are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavata. The great initiates of Bhagavata are called the world disciples. They have remained in the presence of the Lord at all times to come. At times of difficulties, at times of crisis, at times of sorrow, at times of pleasure, at times of splendor, at times of depression, at all times, without exception, they remain in the presence of the Lord. Those who remain like that are the ones who are mentioned in the scripture Bhagavata, and that is the hierarchy of Bhagavata. Who are they? Prahlada, Narada, Sukha, Vyasa, Ambarisha. Such is the hierarchy. That's why those stories are to be recited by us only to reaffirm the truth of the eternal presence. And it is the same the doctrine of eternal presence that is once again explained in the book Mandrajala, that is Music of the Soul. It is re-narrated by Master E.K. as having been given by Lord Krishna to Lord Maitreya. So the teaching of Bhagavata is trying to live in the presence of the Lord. And the accomplished one is a Bhagavata. He is an embodiment of Bhagavat Tattva. That is Bhagavata. Means it is the Lord himself in his form once he is accomplished. Because he has become a completed medium to the Lord. He no more lives for himself. He has no life for himself. The Lord lives, and he experiences the presence of the Lord. He experiences the acts of the Lord through him. He extols the grand acts that the Lord conducts through him. He remains in him. The Lord remains in the Bhagavata, and the Bhagavata Murti remains in the Lord. They become non-separate. So that is how non-separativeness with the Lord within and around is accomplished. It is in that state Prahlada demonstrates the impermeability, the indestructibility. It is in that state Ambarisha demonstrates that he cannot be wriggled out or pulled out from the presence of the Lord. At no point Ambarisha, in spite of being the king of the 7 continents, remember, he was not just minding his family affairs. We are only kings of our, or slaves of our family affairs. And it is already heavy. We have a lot of problems. We don't have much time to think of the Lord. But see Ambarisha. He was the emperor of the globe. He was ruling the 7 continents. Can you imagine how many responsibilities he would have? Now there is a being on the planet who wants to be the ruler of the planet. How many problems he has? His mind is filled not with the Lord but with the terrorism. So to him the Lord is present as a terrorist, because wherever he moves, the thought of terrorists exists in his mind. But to Ambarisha, the thought of Lord only remains at all times. Even when he is attacked, it is the Lord himself attacking him. Can you think of such a situation? If sorrow approaches you, it is Lord only in the form of sorrow. If disappointment approaches you, it is Lord only in the form of disappointment. If someone approaches you with a dagger, it is Lord only that is approaching you with the dagger. Can you think like that? If you cannot think like that, don't call yourself a medium of the Master. Who is the Master? There is only one Master. So that is medium, the perfect medium. So then what happens? Nothing touches him. Hiranyakasipu could not touch Prahlada. Durvasa, the comet, is a comet principle. Durvasa. He could not touch Ambarisha. Is it not? Sukha. You think of those stories. That's why you are supposed to read those stories in the night, so that you dissolve all your petty personality problems into the Lord and remain in the Lord at least during sleep hours. Otherwise you carry all these problems into sleep also, and no one can save you through sleep. The nature wants to save us through sleep, and we don't get the relief in sleep when we don't get into this thought of presence. And if you read the stories of Bhagavata, the stories have that magnetic vibration to absorb you into it in spite of you. That's the beauty of these stories. Bhagavata stories enable absorption into the presence of the Lord. In that absorption and into that presence, when you try to walk every night before you go to sleep, at least during sleep hours, unconsciously though in the beginning, at later you would experience, you stay in the presence, and later consciously you would experience the presence.